I am Luis Diego Carranza, and you're listening to an Advent journey, following the path of Guadalupe and St. Juan Diego. And we're still in the first week of getting ready for Christmas, reflecting on the very first apparition of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Today is day 3. We're continuing to listen to the story of the first appearance, little by little, segment by segment. Now let's go ahead and listen to the segment of the Nican Mopoa for today. And when suddenly the singing ceased, when it was no longer heard, then he heard himself being called from the top of the hill, Juanito, Juan Dieguito. At once he dared to go toward the place from which he was called. No fear disturbed his heart. Nothing troubled him. Rather, he felt joy, deep gladness filling him. He went up the little hill, eager to see from where the voice had come. And when he reached the summit, he beheld a noble maiden standing there. She beckoned him to draw near her. And when he stood before her, he marveled greatly, for she surpassed all that is admirable, all perfection, all grandeur. Her garment shone with the radiance of the sun, gleaming brilliantly. The stones and the cracks beneath her seemed to cast forth rays, as though they were precious jades, shining like jewels. The very earth glowed, shimmering like the colors of the rainbow in the mist. Even the mesquite trees, the cacti, and all the little herbs that grew there appeared as though adorned with quetzal feathers. Their foliage shone like turquoise, while their trunks, their spines, their thorns sparkled like gold. Juan Diego heard a voice speaking to him from the top of the hill, calling him by name. And the text tells us that Juan Diego had the courage to go, the sheer boldness to approach, and nothing worried his heart. It actually tells us that he was happy, totally delighted to answer this call. Now, this initial reaction is super important because it speaks volumes about Juan Diego's heart and character. There's a readiness and there's an ease. He was simple, easygoing, a lighthearted man because of his humility. People who walk like that, they're joyful. This whole journey, as I mentioned on day 1, is about conversion. Whenever we talk about conversion, there will be moments in the Nican Mopoa that will help us by contrast. There's positive attitudes we can imitate, and sometimes examples of bad attitudes we have to avoid. Here we see Juan Diego in the highlight of this contrast. Many times we act the total opposite of St. Juan Diego. Think about Adam. When God calls Adam, "Where are you, Adam?" and he hides. He chooses to hide. He listens that God is walking through the garden and he chooses to hide. Now that happens a lot nowadays, even to us. When God invites or calls us, instead of answering with boldness and ease, we prefer to hide. We'd rather not pick up the call or reply that text that invites us to something new, something different. Being lighthearted and joyful means responding right away. When Juan Diego was brave enough to answer, a world of beauty opened before him as he stepped into the presence of the Virgin Mary. Imagine the world of possibilities that would open up before us if we actually responded to God's call. But we avoid answering, often because deep down, we're afraid. The Bible is full of moments when prophets were called by name to take part in some important mission from God. Some of them, like Jonah, not only didn't want to respond, but they chose to run in the exact opposite direction of where God was asking them to go. Jonah knew that God's path was going to confront him. He knew it would question his social and religious comfort zone, and that's why he wanted to run away. Now, in our case, I want to ask you, why are you running from God's call? What are the frequent reasons you hide from the calling that God has for you? Today, the challenge, the invitation is quite simple. I want to invite you to reflect on the fears that make you hold back, and the fears that suffocate the faith that you have received. Remember, yesterday we were listening about what we've received from our elders, right? Our ancestors. What makes you hold back from that faith? I encourage you to write all this down, some notebook, maybe a post-it note, and lay it out before the Lord in the spirit of prayer. Thank you so much for walking with us in this Advent journey. I'll see you tomorrow on our next episode. God bless. This podcast is brought to you by Juan Diego Network, a project by Juan Diego and Friends Incorporated. a nonprofit seeking to attract people on the internet to in-person Christian community and the sacraments. Visit JuanDiegoandFriends.com to check out our other missionary initiatives.